breakthrough, a better diagnosis of rare diabetes to adapt treatment. I'm Steve Belair and this is Breakthroughs. Diabetes affects more than 400 million people worldwide and is a major public health problem. Although commonly referred to as a single disease, it actually constitutes a group of metabolic disorders with hyperglycaemia as a common feature. Of all of its forms, monogenic diabetes, due to a mutation in one of the genes involved in the management of blood sugar levels, affects 1% to 4% of all cases of diabetes. Often confused with type 1 or type 2 diabetes, more than 90% of monogenic cases are misdiagnosed. A study carried out by scientists from the University of Geneva, the University Hospitals of Geneva, and the Lutheran University of Health Sciences, Kaunas, with more than 1,200 young diabetics, allowed to accurately identify the proportion of monogenic diabetes in the whole pediatric diabetes population. Consequently, treatments were adjusted according to the genetic characteristics of the disease in order to improve patients' quality of life. The results that can be read in the journal Diabetes highlight the need for precision medicine in the management of metabolic diseases. Diabetes is defined by chronic hyperglycemia, which may lead to dangerous complications. Type 2 diabetes and type 1 diabetes are best known forms. Type 2 is often associated with obesity, while type 1 is an autoimmune disease where the immune system destroys the insulin-producing pancreas beta cells. The form of diabetes studied here is called monogenic and is caused by a mutation in a single gene. In the majority of cases, these mutations prevent the beta cell from functioning properly, and the disease often manifests during adolescence. Sometimes, however, the pancreas simply does not develop, and insulin must be administered to babies as soon as they are born. 11 new genes identified. Monogenic diabetes very often goes undiagnosed because its clinical features are quite similar to other forms of diabetes. Even if the symptoms are comparable, the cause is very different. Lithuania has a register of all diabetic children, which also includes most of the young adults, says Valerie Schwitzobel. We have thus carried out a large-scale epidemiological and population study. The scientists first evaluated the presence of autoimmune antibodies, known markers for type 1 diabetes, in the 1,209 children and young adults included in the cohort. A complete genetic analysis was then carried out on the 153 patients who did not have these antibodies and who had only anti-insulin antibodies, which can also develop from insulin treatment. We were able to identify the gene mutation causing diabetes in 42 of them, a much larger number than expected, says Ingrida Stankut. In addition, almost 10% of the study participants who tested positive for autoimmune anti-insulin antibodies also had monogenic diabetes, indicating the need for accurate diagnosis. While most patients had only one defective gene, many different mutations were identified, including 11 genes identified for the first time. But do all these mutations produce the same effect? In the next step of our collaboration, we will therefore perform co-segregation studies in the patients' families and conduct experiments to analyze gene functions, said Valerie Schwitzobel. Wow. I'll leave a link in the description to the full article, and as usual, please like, share, subscribe, and take care.